Spartan Racing Performance, the most advanced parts on the planet. Oh yeah!
Hey guys, welcome back to another exciting web episode from MRP. Today we're going to start talking about the global trend and the trend of new brands hitting the US market. The first brand that we're going to analyze is QLINK. But before we start, let me give you a little background. The US scooter market has been growing steadily the last 8 years. 2007, 2008 were some of the best years on record for the US scooter market. And I predict even if the 2009 is not a stellar year, it'll still be a good year retroactively compared to the past few years of what we've seen. One of the newer brands is QLINK. Some people say, well, who's QLINK? I've actually seen them in other countries, in Germany, Italy, France, and they're represented by different importers. It's a global brand that buys from different factories. For example, this private labeling, I can see here CPI, which MRP just acquired their parts warehouse in the US. CPI in some countries are sold under different names. They've sold to MUZ before. They used to sell to Mod Cycles in Florida, MUD or Yumbo. And they do about the same thing as QLINK. QLINK here, as you can see, the AXOM 50cc is made by another company, but they private label it. And let's take a look and see what we think. Today we're looking at a very, very special bike. Thank you QLINK for sending us this bike. And we count on the support of a lot of manufacturers before I begin today. If it weren't for the manufacturers that we work with, we wouldn't have the response we do in the industry. I have to say that when you work with a reliable brand, somebody that's out there working with other companies, QLINK sent us this new AXOM 50 for free. A lot of companies aren't willing to do that. And I have to say there's some great companies out there in the US right now like CF Moto, one of the best companies. Thank you very much for our last video we just did. Hammerhead, Off-Road, Sunright, JCL, all the guys out there, Italjet, Diamo USA. If they're supporting the industry and they're getting bikes out there, we can make these videos. And we spend a lot of money and a lot of time on our research and development, developing the parts that you, the consumer, can ride and race. Because there's a lot of racing going on and there's a lot of new bikes, but it's very difficult to develop the parts for them sometimes. So let's look at this new model from QLINK. This is the new AXOM 50. Now, let's take a closer look. What is the AXOM 50? The AXOM 50 has a QMB 139 4-stroke engine. You see this engine on a lot of different bikes out there. And it's heavily restricted because it is a 4-stroke 50. But with a few modifications, such as the CDI, the roller weights or slider weights, torque spring, and maybe a new exhaust, you can get this bike going at a decent speed. So let's take a look at the bike. What you're going to notice is that this is a 4-stroke, so you want to change this exhaust. This exhaust is heavily restricted. It's got a converter on there, and you want to replace this system right here. It's taking all your speed away. Get the MRP exhaust and you're going to be flying at least 6 or 7 miles an hour faster. Slider weights, roller weights, CDI, because it has a restricted CDI. Get our unlimited RPM CDI, and get the clutch. I cannot stress how great our clutch is. We have the Dr. Pulley sliders, the Melosi roller weights, torque springs. Anything you can do will get this bike going a lot faster. Now let's take a look at the actual bike. We've looked at the upgrades. Let's talk about the AXOM 50 experience. Well, if you're a college student, this is a great bike to have on campus. It's economical. You can just go right out the door and buy it at your local dealer. Again, it's a 4-stroke 50, so you're going to have to upgrade. The exhaust, night and day experience with the MRP exhaust and the QLINK 50 by itself, the Axon. Two different bikes. Get the exhaust. If you have the QLINK 50, you need to get the MRP exhaust and roller weights. Again, you want to upgrade this baby, get some mirrors, get the grips, maybe a couple other items, get a bigger luggage box. It comes with a free luggage box, but it's not big enough to carry your books. Get the MRP luggage box, it's twice the size, and has the lighted LED lights. Other than that, I think it's good for its price. Visit your local QLINK dealer and pick up the AXOM 50. Well, there you have it. That's our opinion on QLINK. Decent bike for the decent price. And we're going to do a review of each one of these bikes and talk a little bit more about the US scooter market right now. So stay tuned. We're going to have a review of the Thunderbike 150 by Adley, which is also private label. Again, sometimes you'll see it under Adley, you might see it under Lambretta or some other brand. Adley is a manufacturer from Taiwan, and we have a review coming up in the next episode. So stay tuned for the next MRP web episode.